This is what the code would look like from that previous slide if it were actually embedded inside of a larger view. This is the site.master file from a default MVC project, and I've taken the code from the logon user control and embedded it directly in here. You can see that just scrolling through, it's very difficult to pick up what is the authenticated user going to see, what is the anonymous user going to see, what do I need to change if I want to affect the display that's going to appear. All of that's sort of intermingled together. But fortunately, since we have this user control defined, I can come in and replace this with a simple call to render partial. And you can see how quickly that cleans up the view, and it's now much more obvious what the intent is and what is going to appear inside of the specific div. The disadvantage is that this is still hard to test. I'll need some sort of browser automation tool and actually have this control render inside of the browser before I can pick up if it's displaying the appropriate text for authenticated versus anonymous users. It's those kind of scenarios where I'd prefer to build an HTML helper, and that's what I've done here. So this is not part of the default MVC project. This is my implementation of an HTML helper that will display the same markup as this user control. But now I have something that just takes an HTML helper parameter and a username parameter, and it'll display the logon link or the log off link. And it's a lot easier for me to invoke this from a unit test. Of course, there's also a disadvantage. If I want to change how this appears on the screen, if I want to change this from a bold tag to an H2 tag, then I need to come in here into these string literals and change that and recompile it. Whereas you could probably argue that it's a little easier to change markup and text inside of the ASCX file. These are the types of trade-offs that you need to evaluate. But from the standpoint of implementing the view, both of these are good approaches. This is what it would look like if I was going to call my HTML helper method. It's still fairly clear what's going to happen inside of this view, and I haven't made the rest of the view confusing just trying to display that little bit of link text that's going to appear if the user is logged on or logged off.